everyone, this is Sylvia with Pine Kiko Goats, and today I'm joined with my sister Brianna. She's going to be my farm helper, and today we're going to do goat checks on all of the does. So I've already done Santiago yesterday. I just got him up on the stand real quick and trimmed his feet and looked him over so that I could get him out and grazing. But today I'm going to show you the does. So Brianna's going to help me out. I have Luna up on the stand first. So I'm going to start by getting her feet trimmed and we'll show you that. Alright Luna, you ready? Alright, so I'm going to get my clippers. I just have a bucket of treats and my bucket with all my medical supplies that I might need as I look over the goats and make sure that they're healthy and ready to go. I do this annually whenever they need a hoof trim. Usually about every 3 months I'll trim their feet. And I'll just look over the goat in general and make sure they're healthy. So I'm just going to use the end of my blade and scrape out their feet real quick. Luna's feet look really good and strong. I'm just going to take off all that excess hoof. Luna is one of my original does, along with Kiko. Many of you know my crazy Kiko, but this is Luna. She's actually cousins with Kiko. She is pure white, not a true white because she has a few spots on her skin, but she's almost a true white, which is pretty much albino but without the red eyes. That's what a true white coloring is. Luna is pregnant, bred to Santiago. She will be due February 24th. Last year she had twins, Loki and Lola, a buckling and a doeling. And they were beautiful, big babies. She kidded all on her own. So I'm really looking forward to what she gives us this year. Luna's a sweetheart. When we first picked her up, and when I first brought her here to the farm, she actually came to us with pretty bad hoof rot. And so we had to catch her and treat her for hoof rot. And since then, she's just been a sweetheart and she loves people. So we sure love our Luna, huh girl? She's also doing pretty good on the stand here. Doesn't mind getting her feet trimmed.
She's too busy and trying to get the grain.
Yeah, she wants her treats too.
And my hat.
Yes, for sure. She's a great girl. She's a good mama. I'm excited to see her babies this year because last year she had some really big healthy babies. I'm going to move on to her back hoof now. This is the perfect time to get her feet trimmed. See, they'll curl over a little bit, but you don't want to let them get to that point where they're too bad. So I just make sure that I'm watching their feet for when they need trimmed, and then I'll come out here and get that done. And today I have some awesome helpers. My younger brother, who's 13, Ethan, is at the camera, being the camera boy today. And Brianna, my younger sister. Let's see, how old are you? Are you 11 now?
You don't even know my age.
You're 11, right?
Yes.
Alright, so that's my 11-year-old sister Brianna. She's my farm helper. Always willing to help. It's awesome. What's your favorite goat, Brianna?
I have no idea. I can't really choose between either Calliope or Primrose or Luna or Kiko or Divine or Santiago.
Wow, that's a lot of choices there.
Literally every single one.
It's kind of hard to narrow them down, huh?
I don't know. I like them all.
Awesome.
My 3 top favorites are Calliope and Primrose and Luna.
Those are good ones. Yeah, it's hard for me to choose too. Honestly, I love them all. So, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm super fast at trimming hooves. It takes me a little while. So I'm just gonna take my time and, make sure I do a thorough job with hoof trimming today. So I'll just chat along with you guys and do as much as I can today. We'll see what I can get done on the goats. Oh, girl, Luna. You wanna give her a treat? Just a little nibble. Okay, she's doing great on the stand.
She's been getting treats off.
Okay, perfect. So Brianna's in charge of our treats today. I'm working on my third hoof now.
Luna, you crazy girl.
They don't like their back feet done as much because it's kind of difficult for them to balance, but Luna's doing great. She's got really strong feet. I also like that about her. She's also a really deep-bodied doe. She hides her babies very nicely when she's pregnant, so.
Maybe not as well as Hollyhock, but
she's not a huge doe, but she's got a nice deep body, long back. She's got good width too. She's probably my widest doe. You're doing so good, Luna.
it's all the grain she's getting.
Yeah, she's getting plenty of treats to keep her happy. I'll show you what I'm doing while I'm trimming. So there's a little pocket on the end of the hoof. And after I clip off the sides, I'll just clip off the tip where that pocket is. Now I'm actually going to trim down the hoof all the way down to that pocket. So you don't want any pockets left for mud to get in there, or else that can lead to hoof rot. So I will just clip down to that pocket. And if you're getting too close down to blood, then don't worry about trimming all the way down to that pocket on the end of the hoof. Just clip off and leave off that clipped part. Also gonna look and make sure that I have a straight hoof. I do like to trim down until I get to a pink part on the hoof right before I hit blood, but I don't want to cut into that blood or else their foot will bleed. So I'm gonna head over onto her last foot over here.
Luna's almost out of treats.
Uh-oh, Luna's almost out of treats. I thought that was gonna last all of our goats. We're so close to done with Luna. What do you think? Has she gotten her fill of treats?
Maybe I give her too much.
She's doing really good on the stand today, isn't she?
Yeah, I think I know why.
Probably from all the treats she's getting. It kind of surprises me. I'm pretty sure usually they're all quite a bit worse on the stand than this. So Luna's doing really good today. With the dairy goats, when you have them on the stand and you're milking them every day, the goats can actually get really trained to the stand where they'll just hop right up there. Now, because I don't milk my goats, or at least for now, I don't really, they just go on the stand every once in a while when they need their hooves trimmed or when they need medication. But the stanchion, it's a really nice thing to have around. I use it a lot for the goats. And when it's not in use, they can use it as something to play on and stand on. So stanchion is definitely a must-have in the goat world, or if you have sheep. They get to that point where they're a little too big. It's like when they're young, when they're babies, you can just hold them on their lap. But getting really close on these feet, you really want to keep trimming until the bottom is flat, and you want their hoof to be firm. You want to trim off all that soft outer parts that you don't want. Make sure you don't have pockets where mud will catch in, or else they'll get hoof rot, as I was saying before. As you can see, rub dirt on it so you can't see very well, but it's a little bit pink down there, a little bit pale pink, so I'm gonna stop there. So Luna looks great. I've got her feet all trimmed up, and now I'm just gonna do a quick check, look at her fur, and also look at her eyelids. You can actually tell their level of parasites, if they have good parasite control or not, when you look at their eyelids. If they're dark, then that means they look good and they don't need a dewormer. But if they're light, especially really pale pink or white, then that means they need a dewormer. So many of my goats are pretty up to date on their dewormer. I'm just gonna check what's called their FAMACHA. So if you can see that, hers is not pale pink, it's actually kind of a darker pink. So she looks good. Hey, still. Let's check the other one just in case. Oh, you have a little something in your eye. She looks good though. And if you want to come over here. So she's a little dirty, but I'm gonna look through her fur. See, she has some black spots on her skin under there. So she's not a true white. She has kind of orangish skin with little spots. But her fur looks really good and clean under there. It's super soft. It's not coarse and prickly.
She has like tan throughout here.
Yeah, she also has some little tan spots. But so her fur looks good, feet look good. Everything looks good. In fact, we're just getting to the point where with Luna and Divine especially, where we can start feeling for babies. We can feel the babies kicking on their right side where they're carrying their babies, and also being able to feel a little bit of an udder bump where their milk is starting to come in and they're building a little bit of an udder. So those are some signs we'll look for and make sure that they're pregnant, but it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna get Luna off the stand and see who comes next. All right, Luna, you're all done, girl. All right, good girl, Luna. All right, so I have Kiko on the stand now, and so I'm gonna run through the same thing that I did with Luna. I'm just gonna go ahead and start clipping hooves. So Kiko, she's definitely gonna be a more difficult one on the stand, as you can tell already. It's okay, Kiko. So Kiko, what I was saying before is that she is one of my original does that I bought with Luna, one of our first Kiko goats. So Kiko has quite the personality. She is a crazy, crazy girl, and we love her personality. And you silly girls, get down. And so she just has a really fun personality, and she was one of my best mama goats last year. She took care of her babies so well, and so I really like that about Kiko. I forgot to say what breeds they are. So some of my goats are actually percentage Kikos. Luna, my doe that I had on the stand before Kiko, she is 75% with 25% alpine. Now Kiko, though her name is Kiko, we just really liked that name. It fit her personality well, but she has 12% boer. But technically she's gonna throw purebred kids. Okay, so this is when I really wish I had a separate area to put my goat stand in, but this is just gonna have to do for today. Everyone is coming to see what we're doing. So I'm gonna get trim in with Kiko's hooves. Last year, Kiko's babies were half Kiko, half Nigerian dwarf, because Santiago would not breed her last year for some reason. I don't know why. Oh!
The camera got kicked.
My Kiko buck would not breed her for some reason. So she did have those two doelings last year. They had really pretty colors actually. Their names were Candy Apple and Kettle Corn, and they were really sweet baby goats. This year I'm super excited to see what babies she has. She was bred to Santiago, and Kiko was actually a quad herself. So it'll be interesting to see if she ever has quads, or how many kids she has this year. Kiko is due March 1st, so she'll be the last one to kid. But I just really look forward to the coloring too. Her babies had really pretty coloring last year, and as you can see on Kiko, she herself has that really pretty coloring, so she'll pass that on to her babies. Hi, Kiko. So colors are going to be super fun to see, and hopefully she gives us some does, huh, Kiko? You better give us some does. Alright, I'm going to try a front flip. See what that is. Alright, it's perfect timing to get their hooves trimmed. I wanted to hurry and get them trimmed now before we leave on our trip, because it's gotten pretty wet and it looks to me like they need their hooves trimmed, which they do, and we've hit that. We're at the about 3.5 month mark, so it's time to get them trimmed, and we don't want them to get overgrown and them get hoof rot in this wet weather. It's definitely good to keep their hooves nice and trimmed up. Hi, Kiko. But yeah, Kiko does not like being on the stand too much, but she's tolerating it. So with my other two does, I said we were at that point where we're about to be able to feel babies kicking and start seeing some udder development. Kiko is not quite there yet, but we're getting close with her. And that's also the point where I can assure that they are definitely pregnant. Before that, it's like I just look for signs of heat. If I don't see them go into heat, then I'm like, okay, they're probably pregnant. But we're about to get to that point where I can for sure tell that they're pregnant. It's okay, girl. I'm sorry I don't have treats for you. I'm just gonna have to give them treats before and after right now, because the other goats are trying to steal them, huh? In the future, in the near future, I hope, I'd like to kind of have a little milking parlor with a stanchion and be able to bring the goats into their own little area, probably just right outside the pen. I can trim hooves and do maintenance or whatever without the interference of the rest of the herd. So that should be nice. Alright, my farm helper girl is back. Do you want to go find some treats for Kiko?
Sure.
I took the treats and set them on top of the goat shelter roof so that the goats couldn't get to them. Good girl, Kiko. Was that yummy? Yeah, let me give her just a little bit more. Oh, good girl. Oh, yes. Are you dropping it in my medicine bucket? Good girl, Kiko. I think I just have one more foot left. One more. They love their treats, so that's for sure. Oh, 2 more hoofs left, I think. Alright, so I'm on my other front feet. It looks like she's doing better with me lifting up her front feet than her back feet. I wish that their pen wasn't so muddy, but here where we live, it gets pretty muddy. And so their feet get dirty. But their feet are all looking great. Perfect timing for trimming though. I'm hoping I'll get faster at hoof trimming later on. Now I'm kind of a slowpoke, but doing the best I can.
Was that the last hoof?
I think I have one more back hoof.
This
Kiko,
one.
what you looking at? She's trying to see her beautiful little feet. So this is one of my does that I'm really hoping for some doelings out of. It'll be especially fun to see her kids in general though. This is a new breeding for her. I've never seen, this is the second time that she's going to kid, but I've never seen full Kiko babies out of her before. As I was saying earlier, we had to do that breeding to a Nigerian buck last year. So this year will be her first time with some Kiko babies. That will be exciting. All right, let's see. How does your feet look, girl? That looks pretty good. All right, now on to her last foot. All right, they got muddy feet. Just gonna make sure to scrape all that mud off. It's also definitely a good idea to check for hoof rot. But after we bought Luna when she was a doeling with hoof rot, I've never had it in my goats. So they seem to do really well even in this muddy environment in the winter when it gets this muddy, which is great. So they're not too bothered by the mud. They prefer to stay out of it. They kind of stick to their shelters when it gets this muddy, but they do well. So hoof rot, it would depend. Sometimes it's kind of slimy in between the hoof right here. Now she's got mud there, so she obviously doesn't have hoof rot. You would be able to smell it too, for sure. It's a very strong odor. Or sometimes it'll be kind of white and flaky. So I think it comes in several forms, but you'd definitely be able to smell it if your goat had hoof rot. It's definitely a good thing to keep your eye out for though, for sure, when you're getting down there and getting hooves trimmed. These Kikos too, they do tend to have stronger feet, not as prone to hoof rot and foot problems. Alright, so Kiko's all done. This is my last doe that I'm gonna do this morning, and then I'll come back later today and hopefully finish up the rest of the does. So Kiko, you are all done. We're gonna let her loose. Oh wait, actually, take that back. Let me check her famacha real quick and look through her fur, just do a quick goat check. Oh, let me grab my clipper. Thank you. And make sure that she looks good. Good girl, Kiko. I know you want more treats. We're almost done. I don't know if you saw that, but it was nice dark red. Let me check again. Dark red. Good girl. Good girl. So yeah, her famacha looks good. That means parasite control looks good, and she does not need a dewormer. I only deworm my goats if they need it. So I check their eye, I check their feces, and that's how I can know if they need a dewormer or not. Everybody looks good so far, and I'll resume with hoof trimming and goat checks and see you in a little bit. Come on, girl. Hop on up. Good girl. All right, well, Divine got right on up. The only problem is getting her horns through. There you go. Okay, so I've got Divine on the stand, and now I'm gonna get started with doing hoof trim on her. So Divine is my newest addition to the herd. She is from Lookout Point Genetics, not from Lookout Point herself, but her mother was purchased from Lookout Point and went to another farm, and she was a bred doe, and then she gave birth to Divine. So when Divine was for sale, this is how I was able to get her from a different farm, but still be able to get those Lookout Point genetics for a better price. So I'm really excited to see what Divine kids this year. This is gonna be her 4th time giving birth, and she is bred to a herd sire from Lookout Point named Harold. And he's a super nice buck. He's polled also, and he has wattles, which is a fun little trait. What, Calliope, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Calliope, why are you pulling out all of my tools?
She's guilty.
Oh, Calliope. What are you doing? What are you doing? Calliope, there's no treats in there, baby. Get your head out of there. Hey. Oh my goodness. Well, Calliope, what did you eat? What are you finding?
Pills.
Oh no, don't step on my thermometer. Don't step on my thermometer.
Ow,
no.
my toe.
Come on. Out of the bucket. Ethan. Well, Calliope is being naughty in the meantime. You cannot eat stuff in there. That's naughty. But anyways, this is Lookout Point Ranch Divine. And she is very divine. I love her body conformation and everything about her. So I'm just super excited about her breeding this year. And can't wait for her kids. Let's see, she had twins, then twins again, then triplets. So it'll be interesting to see how many she has also this year. So she is my first doe due to kid. She is due, let's see, what's your due date, Divine? February 18th is when she's due to kid. So really hoping for some does, especially from her, but I really think she'll have some nice kids too. So just anything that she gives, anything that she kids out this year is gonna be really nice. I can't wait to see her babies, so that's gonna be super exciting. And any does, if she gives me any does, I definitely plan on retaining some to keep in my own herd. So that would be pretty cool. Now Divine is funny. She is kind of the queen of the herd. She's not a big fan of the other goats. She kind of kicks them out of the way and wants to get everything to herself. It's okay, girl. So she does not mind being alone. Goats are herd animals, but Divine is funny. She does not mind being without the rest of the herd. Being with other goats is just not her passion as much as it would be for other goats. Also, if you're wondering about that lovely stick on her head, Divine figured out how much she loved getting her head stuck in kettle panels and getting her head stuck in there over and over with her big horns. So I had to come to the rescue several times, and that was fun. It actually wasn't. It was quite annoying every time she got her head stuck in there, so we put this wooden dowel across her horns, and that's definitely helped. She's not able to get her head stuck in there anymore, so that's good. She's a good girl though. I like Divine because she's not super in your face and a pushy kind of personality. She's more just, you know, give me pets every now and then, but she keeps her distance. It's okay, girl. Some of these goats today do not want their feet trimmed. But yeah, I really like her personality most of the time, except for when she's escaping fences and just being crazy. But she's usually a pretty pleasant goat to work with. She doesn't jump all over you and get you muddy. So I do like that about her. Also, her coloring is an added bonus. When I got her, I was just like, wow, her coloring is gorgeous. And I'm really hoping she'll pass on this beautiful coloring to her babies. Just like Kiko, I have these 2 does with these really beautiful coats. And I just really like it. It's so flashy. I think she's a little nervous because she can't see me. She doesn't know what I'm doing back here. It's okay, Divine. But Divine also has really thick feet. And they just have a really nice shape to them. Honestly, it's kind of hard to trim because her feet are so thick. But she's a good doe to have around for sure. I hope to hang on to her. She is one of my 100% Kiko does. And obviously she did come from Lookout Point, so that does explain her breeding too. She comes from really, really good genetics. And as far as I know, she has never been dewormed. So that's another really good trait. You want to not have to deworm as much as possible, especially with your Kiko goats. They are just really hardy and really parasite resistant, and that is a trait that you want to breed for. But anyways, I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited for Divine babies. The other day I got her up on the stand and I'm pretty sure I could feel babies kicking in her stomach. So that's pretty cool. I was a little worried that she might not be pregnant because she would go say hi to the buck every now and then, but because she also seemed to have pretty silent heat cycles when I was working on getting her bred, I noticed that it was kind of hard to detect when she was in heat and ready to get bred. So I was worried that maybe she didn't get bred. Hi, girl. And that she had been going back into heat, but it looks to me like she was successfully bred. So I'm looking forward to see how many babies she has and what babies she has. I think I'm all done. Let me do a quick check over. Sometimes I forget which hooves I've already got done. We're done with hoof trimming with Divine, so let me check her famacha. Again, that's their eyelid to check how their parasite control is. Come on, sweetheart. It's okay, come on. There we go. All right, so I think that this is Calliope's second time being on the stanchion. So she's not exactly super excited about this, and she's not quite sure what I'm gonna be doing, but I'm just gonna give her a quick hoof trim and check her over. This is Calliope. She is my African Savannah show goat, and I'm hoping to show her in the spring and summer next year, so that will be super exciting. She is an in-your-pocket type of goat. She loves people a lot. She was a bottle baby, so she's also very, very naughty. Comes hand in hand. So I'm just going to scrape out the hoofs real gently at the end of my clippers. And then clip off all that excess hoof. And yes, Calliope is going to be very fidgety on the stand. So I clip off the edges first, and then I'll just take off that little tip. My goodness, girl. She's crazy. So yeah, this girl is a dancer on the stand. Does not like it one bit. What's the matter? If you hold still, then you won't choke yourself. Calliope, she's gonna be a fun one to train. She is quite the dancer and does not like to cooperate one bit. So I'm gonna have to work on a lot of training with her to get her ready for the showing. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and check her over and make sure everything's good. I'm gonna check her eyelid. But I'm just gonna gently put my thumb on top of her upper eyelid and pull down her lower eyelid. That's looking nice and dark, so that's good. So look, now she's finally behaving that I finished her hoof trimming. But I'm also gonna go through and check their fur. Her fur looks great, super fluffy, her skin is smooth. So she is all ready to go. Good girl, Calliope. Good girl. But good girl, Calliope. Hopefully she'll get more used to the stand, and I can train her to the stand, and she'll know that if she goes on the stand, she'll get treats. It'll just take some time. I'll definitely have to work on training her for show as well. Hey, Kiko, get away from the camera. But we'll get there eventually. It'll just take a lot of work. So Calliope's all done. Now I'm going to move on to the next one. Come on, Primrose. Hey, Luna, don't knock over the camera. Come on, Rosie. Let's go.